Hey guys, welcome back. Another Digital Gate Studios production. We're doing the podcast, Two Tamers Talk once again. Got Basil over there.
Yeah, Jesse didn't want to do it 2 weeks in a row.
Nah,
so
man,
go
he gets
figure.
camera shy. He gets like scared and stuff. Like the fans want too much out of him and stuff.
It's
So
true.
don't worry, guys.
He's in the studio.
I'm gone next week. So for those of you that just absolutely cannot stand having me on the podcast, he will be back. I will be gone. You're safe. For those of you that are going to miss me, don't worry. It's only a week.
Yeah,
You'll be
true.
fine. You'll be fine.
The everywhere man.
Yeah, this time I'm not working though. This time I'm going to Disneyland anniversary with the wife, so it's like it's gonna be
a good reason to
fun
miss
time,
a
I guess.
Digimon
But,
podcast.
I mean, it's not as fun as Digimon in my opinion, but
don't say that too loud.
don't tell my wife that, right? But no, a little bit of housekeeping first, guys. We're like 65 subscribers away from 2,000. First of all, the fact that I'm saying that blows my mind.
That's crazy.
Because I remember grinding, thinking we were like, how were we getting to 1,000? And then now we're at 2, and almost at 2. So if you guys have 65 friends that you could share this with, or please let us know. Let's get that going. If not, no worries, whatever. But as always, we appreciate the support.
Yeah, 1,000 happened in the BT11 format at the Mox Valley tournament.
Mox Valley game. So
1,000 since then.
You did not have to wait 11 formats or 11 sets
true.
and all that stuff for it to happen again. So last week we went to locals. We didn't get a chance to talk about it post like the podcast like we try to do. So I wanted to bring it up specifically because of our game. Right.
Yeah,
so
we played at top table round 3.
Yeah. It was great. So I played Blue Flare. I've been testing the ever living crap out of it. Mm-hmm. For those of you guys, you're starting to see some gameplay footage coming on. We are doing a Road to Regional series where we're going to go ahead and get a whole bunch of meta decks going, a whole bunch of different gameplay styles. Mm-hmm. Jesse, Basil, myself, Jacob. I think we got a couple other folks that were hitting up, testing all of the meta decks, trying to figure out what we're going to play at regionals, certain strategies, certain lines of play, and even deck techs, because I know I'm struggling myself. So I'm committed to playing Blue Flare, and that's what I played at locals. Just like you were saying, man, game 1, I went 2-0. Game 2, I went 2-0. Game 3 against this man. And what'd you do?
I brought Machine Dramon.
Creamed me is what you're supposed to say.
Yeah, I ended up winning. I love our locals a lot because I love all the people there. You will not see Shine Greymon every round at our local scene.
It's
which
amazing.
Is nice because playing against Shine Gray and War Gray every match would be like
Yep.
But in BT13 that has kind of changed a little bit at our local scene. The deck specifically that I think is really strong and seeing a lot of play at our locals is Royal Knights.
Absolutely.
And so I was thinking about Royal Knights, and I want to play it, and I want to play against it, and etc. And so one of the things that I think is actually really strong versus the Royal Knights deck is Machine Dramon.
Yep.
And so it has room for Chikurimons, which are obviously one of the biggest counters to the deck. And then I put in a bunch of my turn DP boosts.
Yeah.
And BT8 Metal Greymons.
Yep.
So my plan was to swing over the Royal Knights as they get played.
Yeah.
And it worked the trick, but you got caught in the crossfire.
I did. But that was great though, because I went into locals not thinking that I was going to be undefeated at regionals, go 9-0 and dominate every single person with Blue Flare.
Sure.
But I was like, okay, I was thinking about all the matchups I was going to see, and I don't think I'm scared of this. I don't think I'm scared of this. I think I got a good answer for that. And then Machine Dramon comes to the table with 3 analog mans, both games, by the way.
Yeah,
which was crazy luck.
Yeah, I got Analog Man is one of those cards that kind of made Machine Dramon's bad matchups not so bad.
Yeah.
So Blue Flare used to be really hard because if they had the Decker Greymon, they'd stun the machine. You couldn't play out a Machine Dramon and a Chikurimon because then you'd be susceptible to the Mailbird inheritable.
Yep.
But then with the Analog Man, even if you get stunned, you can still redirect an attack.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And the Blue Flare line never really gets to big DP numbers.
Yep.
And so your Machine Dramon's always going to be bigger than their Blue Flare pieces. So.
Yeah, like if I was originally trying the Decker package because I was attached to it. Again, I've been playing Blue Flare since BG10, and it's hard for me to get away for it. Spoiler alert, I'm away from it right now, and I don't know if I'm going back. Don't necessarily regret it, but at locals last week, I was trying the Decker package, and honestly, it never came up. Even in that matchup, I was like, okay, yeah, I got the Decker. I can stop it. but you still have 3 analog mans.
Yeah.
And then, you know, if the way the deck's going right now to fit in the male Bergermon with jamming, especially with the EX 4 pieces that we were given to increase the consistency of male Bergermon and Greymon, you kind of start taking out those Decker draw pieces.
Yeah.
Right? So that DP threshold that you mentioned, you're really only getting to 11K with Zeke, and ideally Zeke is kind of your finisher.
Yeah.
So you're really only swinging 8K. You're not using 10K Decker Drummons or Decker Greymons, excuse me, to swing anymore. So you're absolutely right. And I was really glad that we played because that kind of opened my eyes to thinking about, okay, what do I need to do for deck building? What do I need to do for this? What do I need to do for that? And then it also made me respect Wargrey a lot more too, because Wargrey does have similar weakness from the blue flare's perspective as that machine Dramon, where it's hard for me to get around. It's hard for me to get around multiple blocks. It's hard for me to get to that DP threshold. So it's, again, great testing. Honestly, I'm going to play blue flare again tonight. I've been updating my list. There will definitely be a deck profile video. So hopefully I go undefeated at regionals and, you know, I can get all the big interviews.
See.
Right.
Sure.
Right. Stay tuned. Digital Gate Studios will have it first. You know, we're always the first to market, but yes, I mean, what are you gonna play tonight? Do you know? Or are you just gonna have fun with it tonight?
I'm gonna play Mirage tonight. I have an Ultimate Cup this weekend.
Yes,
and enough goofing around. None of this yellow hybrid stuff. None of this green. I'm bringing Mirage.
Yeah.
I've got some anti-Mirage technology.
Okay.
And something that I don't think people are thinking of is Hammer Spark.
Yeah.
Hammer Spark will stop the Mirage out of security if they don't have enough memory. But also, if you're playing versus Mirage, you can just punt a lot of your cards in your hand.
Yeah.
Like you're not even necessarily using it to gain memory.
Yep.
You're just playing them to have less cards in your hand. And so I messed around with the list. Obviously, there's room in the deck. You don't really want to play Sorai. In the Ultimate Cup
format. Not in the
format,
Ultimate Cup format, exactly.
Because your the Shine Greymon is, I mean, people do still play Shine in the Ultimate Cup format, but the Punch Marcus is at 1. Belphemon is still relevant in that matchup, but you mostly played it for the Royal Knights matchup and for the Shine matchup, which are a lot less prevalent. So a little bit extra room, put in some memory boosts, some Hammer Sparks, and then we'll go from there.
Yes, I'm glad you brought up Mirage Gaogamon. Perfect segue. It's not, you didn't even plan it, but you and I, we recorded actually yesterday as with our recording schedule. I think it'll be uploaded sometime next week, early next week. But you and I were doing the Mirage Gaogamon versus Blue Flare matchup to really get that tested. And round 1, you creamed me. Bunch of technical difficulties. We had to scrap round 1, but we got round 2 recorded, and it really came down to the wire. It's crazy how you would think that, okay, hey, I can digicross, so I can kind of, like you said, throw away cards, even though I'm not really throwing them away, right? Like I'm using them as digicross material. So I'm reducing the number of cards in our hand, but I think it was that game 3 of our round 2, I ended up with like 13, 14 cards in hand.
You did like a triple blazing boost or something.
Yeah, something just to draw a bunch of cards.
I was
and
like, how many cards in your hand? He's like, 15. I was like,
yeah,
it's Christmas.
Yeah, it was crazy, but no, man, these gameplays have been so much fun to record. I always love playing against you. I love playing against Jesse. I love playing against Jacob, especially now that as you guys know me. You know, I'm not really the guy that's always plays the super serious decks unless it's like the day before an event, and then I'm like, oh man, maybe I should practice. So thanks to you, you're motivating us to really get some extra games in and really get some practices going. And all of this has been really helpful.
Yeah, it's been good. And I mean, it's one of those things where it's like you're at the local and you're playing, and then you're thinking about the game. Maybe I could have done that. But we're having however many people watch the video, and they're like, what about here? And it's like, they're pointing out things that we're doing wrong, missed triggers, misreading effects, and stuff like that. So it's good to get that stuff ironed out before the regional.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that. Again, man, you're killing it with the segues. It's like you're getting good at this or something like that. I'm loving it. But I wanted to specifically bring up because yesterday, as the day of our recording, so it was Tuesday for all you folks that are following along, we had the first video of our Road to Regional Tamer Battle series come out. Myself versus Jacob, Blue Flare versus Belphemon. And there were some misplays, and there were some moments where I realized had I gone to regionals that day, I definitely would not have gone 8-0 because I was not as prepared as I should be. And that's really is my fault. I need to read the cards better. So I just kind of wanted to make fun of myself here and talk about some of these cards because you guys know I love doing that. So
Yeah.
first of all, Zeke Greymon, what a great card. If you didn't know, there is an alternative Digivolution cost. I had apparently no idea that I can Digivolve for 2 on any Metal Greymon.
True.
So that kind of blew my mind a little bit because I'm so used to that finishing move, right? Where it's like that Blitz Omnimon equivalent where I want to get it and end the game, right? And so to me, it's like, who cares about the rest of the card? I don't want to read it.
Yeah.
And then so the whole reading of that Digivolution alternative thing has changed so many things for me. It's also been really nice too because you had commented on this on the video too, is on deletion save. So this is some advice for everybody. Sometimes it's good to be in that flow state. Sometimes it's good to what's the word I'm looking for? Like when you can just see a picture and you know what it does. But when you see save on Zeke Greymon on deletion, there is a little bit more text than just the parentheses explaining what save is.
Yes.
So for me, I forgot that Metal Greymon and Male Birdramon get put under the Tamer. I don't know if that has changed any of my gameplay exactly, but that is very helpful and could come up. So
yeah.
I do think having those extra sources, that card advantage is really, really nice. And then also Metal Greymon Cyberdramon Launcher. This one I did know, guys. Don't worry. I'll give myself some credit. The Metal Greymon Cyberdramon Launcher does count as a Metal Greymon, which means Zeke Greymon can Digivolve for 2 on it. The reason why I brought this up is because we were talking about the Decker package. I'm sitting here and I'm like, I love the Decker package. I love the artwork of the Decker Greymon. I just, big beefy dude. To me, he's the final boss of Blue Flare. I don't like Zeke Greymon's design very much, but that's a dumb tangent we don't need right now. So I was very attached to that and I didn't want to get rid of it. And I've been seeing a lot of good lists out there. Some that are kind of doing like a 50-50 between the Decker package and the Cyber Launcher. And I've doing all my own research and stuff. I'm like, okay, I think the Decker package doesn't need to be in there anymore. The Cyberdramon Launcher clearly is the better play. It's got the armor perch, still Digivolves for 2, still Digivolves for 4 on a level 4, which I've used before.
Because it deals with floodgates.
Can still tuck something if I want to tuck a Male Birdramon to stun something, if I want to tuck an extra blue Greymon to unsuspend if they have 2 or more. And it bottom decks 3s and a 4 if you use another Cyber Launcher. So for me, all of our gameplay and locals, I've decided that I'm going to stick with 3 Cyber Launchers. And this is something that I have been on the fence about all week because I've been trying to find room for things. I've been trying to find room like, how do I put in Ice Wall? How do I put in, I see a lot of Death X's. I've been seeing a great list with like Blitz Omni. And it makes so much sense to go from Zeke to Blitz. And I've had so many games where I wish I could do that. But Cyber Launchers definitely stay in the deck. I love it as a 3 of, so it's nice when that is solidified. And the last card I want to talk about is my boy, the new Gaussmon. The new Gaussmon is an awesome card, and it's definitely a 4 of. And to me, it was never a question whether I was going to go less than 4. Yeah. It was just a question of, okay, maybe I want to play 9 rookies, maybe I want to play 10, but he was always 4, right?
Yeah.
He has an alternative ability where if you play a card with Twilight, you can grab a card with Digivolution requirements from your trash, put it to your hand. Game 1, like the first, 3 minutes of Jacob and I's gameplay video, I have a Metal Greymon in trash. I have the Gauss on field. I have a Dual Tamer in hand, and I even play the Dual Tamer. So I could have grabbed it there, but I'm sitting there talking to everybody, and I'm like, I got to figure out how to get this Metal Grey out of trash to hand. Guys, don't overthink it. So all this stuff being said, after talking a bunch of crap about myself, my pieces of regional advice that I would like to give to everybody listening, if you don't mind, is read your cards. Read your cards in the deck, even if you think you know what it does, even if you've associated the picture with actions so many times in your brain, just reread it.
Yeah.
And then the second piece is read your opponent's cards and understand the meta decks. And I understand, like, sometimes when you're all happening at once, you can't just grab the cards all the time and read it, but do some homework ahead of the event. For example, I need to read some Belphemon stuff. I need to make sure I understand the Belphemon deck better. I also need to make sure I understand the Mirage Gaogamon deck better. So that way, when I draw a card and you unsuspend with the blocker, it isn't just completely devastating to me in that matchup. And then a fun piece of advice that I've kind of figured out on accident is didn't have this happen to us while we were doing our gameplay footage, but at locals, I found myself forgetting after I would hatch the egg to Digivolve into a level 3. So I'm gonna experiment with like some hot pink sleeves.
Yeah, right.
So it's just a bright obnoxious. Maybe I'll get like a puke green.
Yeah,
something like
something
bright
ugly,
that
yeah.
stays in the back of my mind. So that way I see that and I go,
Put a rookie there.
Put a rookie there because there was not a game that I lost because of that. I did go 2-0, 2-0, 0-2, 2-0 at locals, but there was times where it's like, man, I need to be a better Digimon player and Digivolve on my level 3. So
yeah.
I will stop talking, and I would love to hear. You've been playing a lot more of these events. We've been doing a lot of testing. What are your thoughts with this week of testing? What do you got for some advice for us?
Well, we'll start off talking about the week has been interesting because I was pretty much not really deciding between, I want to play this, I want to play that, whatever. But I was like, how am I going to make Shine Greymon as good as possible for this regional?
Yeah.
And then I know people want it banned and it's too good and etc.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as good as Black War Greymon with 4 Gray X's was.
Yeah.
And for sure wasn't as good as Beel's X was with 4 EX2 Intmons. Not saying it should or should not be banned or whatever. I'm just saying the deck has some matchups that are not like it. Like there are some matchups it crushes.
Yep.
But there are some matchups that are not so easy. I think Royal Knights in particular is really tricky because on turn 1, they have a Dynasmon.
Yeah.
And you need to neg DP that Dynasmon 10k. It's not the easiest thing to do, even with 5 memory. And so the way to win that matchup is to either run them down and kill them as fast as possible, or to neg DP their Royal Knights every turn so they can't reduce enough for the Omnimon.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
But the tricky thing is all of the things that people have come to know and love about Shine Greymon, all of those effects happen in the battle area, not in the raising area.
Yes.
So you can't really build a Rise Greymon in raising and then have a pop-off turn because you're not using the Geo Gray to play a Tamer for free or search your security and play a Tamer. You're not playing the Rise Gray out to play a Tamer for free. And so what ends up happening is on turn 2, you promote an Agumon, Geo Gray, Rise Gray. Yeah, you play 2 Marcuses, but then they have Jessmon can delete your Rise Gray. Ulforce can bounce it. Ukrainianmon can make it attack. There's a lot of things that end up.
There's a lot of answers.
And same thing with Belphemon. You'll see we recorded Jacob versus myself on Shine Greymon, and the Belphemon is just going to wipe your board because let's say you get into a Shine, they have that Karada, they tuck it underneath their Belphemon, delete the Shine Greymon. So this has kind of put me into a spiral of what do I want to play? Which kind of brings me to you talking about reading your cards and knowing what they do. Is I've been talking a lot about comfort picks. And so one of my most played decks is Mervacross. And it's something I think is always going to be threatening, especially in a tournament format. Because you're so good with it. You just swing a bunch of times and then they die, and that's a good way to win. And then it's one of those things where it's like, well, how does it do in this matchup? How does it do in that matchup? And it's sort of like what you don't want to have happen when you get to a big tournament like this, and I've experienced this at Ultimate Cups, is you don't want to go into your round 1 and either draw or lose, or even sometimes win, but in a way that was stressful or obnoxious or whatever. You don't want to be after that round 1 thinking, God, I wish I played X.
Yeah, you don't want to regret your deck choice.
You don't want to be like that. And
I feel that, man. I feel that. Yeah.
I've just got some thinking to do.
Yeah.
Because Machine Dramon is a deck that I have played the crap out of. I love Machine Dramon. I think it's awesome, and believe it or not, it's pretty strong this format. The blue matchup's scary as always.
I think it's incredibly strong.
The Belphemon matchup is pretty good because you have protection from deletion.
I think there's gonna be a lot of Belphemons.
Attacked redirects. Shine Greymon matchup, the EX1 machine can't be DP reduced, which is nice. So there is stuff for just about every matchup. But there's just it was like, okay, I'm gonna play Shine, but how am I gonna play it? And now it's kind of like, well, is that really my my best opportunity? So in any case,
that's tough, man. You're in a pickle, dude, because I feel like it's for me sometimes just going into locals, I don't know what I'm gonna play, and then I pick a deck or whatever, and I'm kind of all over the place, and I bounce around a lot. And for whatever reason, I feel locked in on Blue Flare.
Which is great.
And Royal Knights is a close second, but I'm way more comfortable with Blue Flare.
Yeah.
And the same thought process with your cross list. I just like the aggression.
Yeah.
I'm an aggro player and it happens to have control in the deck.
Mhm.
And it's not like I'm rebuilding the deck to control my opponent. It's just what it does, and it works for me. So
yeah.
I get that, man. That's tough.
And I'm also still thinking about the promo Black War special. That's a deck that I love.
Yeah, I was rewatching that video at home yesterday, and I was like, man, I love this deck. I just love this deck. It's great. And I remember listening to your logic of why it could be good, and I was just like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense for sure. And people don't see it coming. And I think right now a lot of people are changing the level 3 floodgate that they're using.
Yeah, it's not memory blockers.
It's not the memory blockers.
It's play cost deniers and
can't play by effects.
Yeah.
Obviously, the memory deniers are really good, and I think some, if not most, meta decks might have the one or one of, but I think they're going to heavily focus on that play cost reduction.
And the interesting thing about that is the decks that are really strong is all of them are reducing by effects.
Yep.
But when it comes to the memory blockers, the decks that it's good against, those decks kill memory floodgates by accident pretty much.
Yeah, I feel that exact way. Yeah.
Like the Shine Greymon, you're gonna neg DP 2K so simply.
Boom.
Belphamon, it's not even a question. Greymon will sneeze on a floodgate and he'll die. I mean, it's just. But then the decks that struggle with killing floodgates are the ones that have trouble dealing with the play cost reduction floodgates. So it's pretty interesting.
I definitely think so. I think that's a good point to notice for your Mervacross list or the machine list or even that other list, the promo Black War Gray, because you have so much memory gain in there, and you do have ways to get rid of that memory gain for sure. So. That is a tough decision. I can't wait to hear your thought process. Stay tuned.
Yeah,
Find out next week. Will Basil play at regionals? No, I'm just kidding.
we'll get it figured out.
Yeah. So now, I mean, it's just been a blast doing all this testing. It feels really good to get back into the game real serious. I don't want to make excuses. I've just been doing too much things in my life, and it does feel like I kind of had an unextended leave of absence from trying in the meta, and so it feels really refreshing to get back in and just go at it with my all. The problem is now I get butthurt when I don't win because I'm trying. You know what I'm saying? Like before, when I was not trying, it was like, okay, I went 2-2, whatever.
Yeah.
Now it's like, come on, man, I didn't go perfect the entire night. What's wrong with me?
This is a shout out to Arthur. I promise he's not watching.
You, dude. Please,
I promise he's not watching this. But the best player ever in Hearthstone history had a 65% win rate in ladder.
Isn't that crazy to think about?
So 3-1.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's funny because I'm a big baseball fan, and if you're really good at baseball, you hit the ball a third of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You can make
it's like,
hundreds
why
of
didn't
millions,
I go
so it's
4-0?
Like, yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
It's like, well, it's not so
maybe
easy.
we'll use this as a little quick positivity reminder. Everybody has kind of the same goal of being good at the game, and just like you said, 65%. That's not bad, man. But so I'm definitely looking forward to this whole event. It's gonna be a lot of fun just to travel with you guys and hang out and get some good action going on for sure.
And get some EP5s.
Get some EP5s. I'm excited for all those cards. Those are gonna be great, man. So I mean, okay. So do you think there's any reason Royal Knights can or cannot win this regionals, or what are you expecting to win this regionals? Kind of going into, what are you thinking?
Well, I think pretty solidly the top 3 decks in the format are Shine Greymon, Royal Knights, and Wargrey. I think Shine Greymon, for obvious reasons, just has a lot of really strong cards. It's good. It's some matchups are just completely horrible for your opponent.
Yeah,
I think Bloom is one of them. It's really, really hard. You need DP, and your stuff doesn't have a lot of DP.
Exactly, all those 3Ks.
There's just a lot of things to love about that deck. Obviously, I think the Royal Knights deck is very interesting, just because there's so many ways it can go. There's a lot of techie options, and it just has an answer for everything, just about.
Yeah.
And then Wargrey, I think, is perennially strong.
Yeah.
Just has some of the best cards that they've ever printed. So I would expect one of those 3 decks to take it.
Yeah. For sure.
But I mean, and I think what's awesome about the BT13 format is how spread out it is within that 4 to 10 range.
Yeah.
So I could see any deck within there just going on a monster run and winning. I mean, and it goes all the way from Bloom, Machine, Blue Flare, Belphamon, Security control, I think, is still really strong.
Absolutely, you're gonna have to respect all those
Someone could
matchups.
just randomly come with Alphamon
Yeah.
and draw really hot and kill
Yeah.
everyone in one turn. I think the Black War Gray OTK deck is strong. I think
Yeah.
Crossheart is still good. Ulforce, I think, is still strong. Mirage
absolutely,
Gaogamon
yeah,
is still
both of those.
strong. There's so many decks in this format that are legitimately, tier 1.5, and
Yeah.
whether it's 4th or 10th or whatever, I think is kind of
And
irrelevant.
they're all so close, depending on matchup too, as well,
They're
right?
extremely close together,
Yeah.
and red hybrids. I mean, you could name
Red hybrids is so strong.
You could
It's
name
so strong.
You could name good decks, and we'd be
Yeah.
here for another hour. And
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Well, I mean, that's the point. It is an hour episode. People want us here, right?
So I think if I was a betting man, I'd put it on, like I said, one of those top 3 decks is
Yeah.
Royal Knights, Shine, and Wargrey. But seriously, I think it could go a lot of different ways.
I just have a feeling Wargrey is going to take it. I really do. Especially, we literally just recorded gameplay footage of us. He was playing Wargrey. We
Wargrey
playing
versus Blue
Flare, and it was great. They were really good games, a lot of fun, and just how many answers Wargrey has. And Wargrey is a deck that I have actually read all the cards compared to Belfamon and Mirage Gaogamon, so I know how the deck works and stuff. And I always love when you can swing with huge level 5. So
Yeah.
that deck is close to me as well. Love the addition of the new blocker tie as well. It just makes so much sense. And I kind of just have a feeling. I just have this gut feeling that that's the deck
Good deck
to take it, because I think Shine Gray is beatable. I think a lot of people are going to rely on how strong they think it is versus Wargrey, where if you're a good player, you know your deck well, and you can really, and you built it with the right ratios, you could really just come out on top. A lot of good answers. So that's, if I were to guess, that's what I would guess would win, but I cannot wait to see these results. Pasadena, California, November 12th. That is where regionals is going to be. If you can make it there, come hang out, come see us. We would love to interact. We would love to get to know you.
Word on the street is we're going to do some live content.
I'm hoping.
So who knows?
Yeah, let us know in the comments, especially while you're sharing this around, getting us 2,000 subscribers, again, like 65 away or whatever. Let us know what you want to see. We've been really excited. I had a couple people reach out to me on Discord. They were happy we're doing the Tamer battles again, and I know I was too. Yeah. And I was like, trust me, we've been wanting to do this. It was just getting the infrastructure, the time, the scheduling all figured out, put together, and we're here. And we're really excited to do this little mini series, Road to Regionals, where we're doing all these hardcore meta decks. I miss doing the little bit of janky deck gameplay footage, and those will be coming back. But I really like where our head is, and we're staying the course and trying to become really good Digimon players. So we're gonna keep that going.
With RB1 coming.
RB1 coming, yeah.
We'll see some more decks coming here soon.
We'll see some more content as well.
We knew BT13 was gonna be a long format.
We did. We did. And I think we're all kind of ready for that and stuff. So it's kind of nice when they have a little bit longer time in the formats as well. But yeah, stay tuned, man. Let us know what you guys want.
Hold on. We need to talk about our cards of the week.
Oh, okay. Let's do that.
Jeff, I want you to start us off, because mine's going to take a while.
Okay, so guys, I'm really sorry to everybody here in the room right now, because I told everybody what my card of the week is, and I'm changing it. I'm going to change it to the Shoutmon, what is it, Superior Mode, the Cross 7 Superior Mode. 7, yep. So I'll just do a quick little honorable mention, because it was going to be the promo Impmon, so I guess I'm going to have 2 cards of the week because I can cheat like that. It's my podcast, guys. Come on. I'm just kidding. So Jacob and I's gameplay footage, the promo Impmon would have won him the game had he played that, especially paired with the Keenan. So quick shout out, if you're not playing that promo Impmon in your Belfamon deck, definitely play it. Real card of the week, Shoutmon. So I'm sitting here working on Blue Flare. I'm sitting here going through all of this deck, figuring out what do I want to play. Been looking at tons of Blue Flare lists, seeing a lot of the same thought process I am. And I've just been going back and forth, like, what do I want to do? And not that I think Blue Flare needs a level 7 in the deck to win. I think I'm worried specifically about our Machine Dramon matchup, and I'm worried about the Wargrey matchup as well. And so this is a card where probably the only time we'll say anything good about it, because it feels like it's never used anywhere else, right? Where this particular card is the removal. First of all, it has Blue Flare and traits.
True.
So it's searchable. That's pretty cool. So if you played it as a 1-of, which is, I might play it as a 1-of, not 100% sure yet. I'm still working it out. I think it would be good as a 1-of, especially because it has a Digicross requirement, and I can grab it from trash with that Gaussmon. Remember that mistake I made where I could have grabbed the Digicross requirement? So if it's the first card in security, I can grab it back. There's a lot of ways to use it, but it's great removal. It has the ability to kind of tuck all those sources. We don't have very many cards that just grab sources, throw them at the bottom of the deck. And what interaction were we just talking about before we recorded that was so interesting?
The X antibody option.
Yeah, that card
it doesn't get trashed. It gets bottom decked.
It doesn't get trashed, so it gets bottom decked. So it will get bottom decked. It will stop the protection of the War Gray line, and it will stop the protection of the Machine Dramon line.
Yeah.
So right now my ratios are incredibly difficult. I know there's like 3 cards you want me to play really bad, and you're not wrong. And so I'm trying to find room to fit this one in. I almost want to test it tonight. I don't have one on me. I might ask Jesse over there to let me borrow one real quick, especially this nice, pretty gold one down here, right? He's like, dude, this car's worth like $5.
Yeah.
Watch, I'm gonna talk stonks. Watch, I have like a secret like stock portfolio of this.
You win the regional with the Cross 7 Superior
the Cross
mode.
7. It's
Bang.
yeah. Well, the thought process is not that it's that. So really, the level 7s I'm considering Death X because it's Death X. It's so freaking strong. You almost have to consider how good Death X is, right? And I know I was looking at that Texas regional where that guy went 8-0 with Blue Flare where he's playing 2 Death X. Death X is not my style in the Blue Flare. I love the aggressiveness. I don't need the control. Like, yeah, I have 4 Sorai, but it kind of just feels like it's in there, and it's obviously really good. But sometimes you're just sitting there waiting on it and feeling like you have insecurity, and I don't like that mind state. So I might go down to 3 and put another one of these cross in. Yeah. But the Blitz Omni was such a good idea too, because you can get to Zeke and then you have one more win with the Blitz Omni. So I saw a really cool list specifically that played a Blitz Omni and the Shoutmon Superior. So that was really good call. But I like the searchability. I like the Digicross requirement of the Shoutmon. It is a 17K security bomb too if it hits. So that's pretty nasty. Ooh. But I don't really like relying on security bombs. Yeah. That's my card of the week, and I'll probably never talk about that Shoutmon ever again, I think, right?
Well, hard to say.
Yeah.
Well, my card of the week, Jeff kind of alluded to it. Mine is actually Ice Wall.
You did.
And the first thing to mention is I am sitting in the room with 2 heathens right now. They play blue decks without Ice Wall.
I'm going to get a shirt that says that.
The question is not how do I make room for Ice Wall? It's how do I make room for the 49 cards that aren't Ice Wall? In my opinion. But it actually got me thinking about restricted cards. And I think that's kind of why I wanted it as my card of the week. Because my philosophy has always been, if a card is restricted, you should probably find room for it in the deck that you're playing.
It makes a lot of sense. Like reinforcing memory boost.
Yeah,
perfect example.
My favorite decks, some of my favorite decks play a lot of restricted cards. Yeah. So the Merva Cross list plays Cross 4, Sunrise Buster, and Reinforcing Boost.
Great cards.
Loom Lord plays Argomon, Blossomon, and HPD.
Great cards as well.
Stuff like that. And so that sort of got me thinking. I know I've made this tirade before. Yeah. But it's 0 cost memory options I feel should be restricted to 1. And the interesting thing about it is I was in an argument with a guy on Discord. We were talking about Jack Raid. Yeah. And those of you who've been following Japan results in EX5, purple is the color to beat.
I love it.
And
it's our time to shine.
The interesting thing about it is Jack Raid and Gravity Crush and Blinding Ray, and to a lesser extent Hammer Spark, but same idea. These cards are only problematic at 4. Yeah. Which is interesting because it's the same idea of some other restricted cards. Yep. Where Tommy at 4 is a huge problem, but Tommy at 1 makes blue hybrids unplayable. Yep. Same thing with Jet Sylphie. Jet Sylphie at 4 is oppressive and obnoxious to play against, and Jet Sylphie at 1 means yellow hybrids is not a deck in the format. Whereas with other cards, HBD, Argomon, Cross 4, Greymon X, EX2 Impmon, stuff like this. Yeah. These cards being restricted makes a deck worse, but not unplayable. Yeah. And so I think if you put a card like Gravity Crush or Jack Raid or Blinding Ray to 1, the only decks it kills are the decks that use them as 4-ofs. I see. A lot of decks like War Greymon will play 1 Gravity Crush just as like a way to get into that level 5 when they need to. Yeah. But decks like Millith Loop, if you've ever played against it, they use 4 Jack Raids. They get 2 Jack Raids back from trash. They go to 10. Shine Greymon Ruin Mode, swing, Blanket has minus 10k, mill your entire deck out in 1 turn. Yeah. I think and then Mervacross and the promo Black War Greymon deck. Decks like these are uninteractive. Now I'm going to have a 5-minute turn where at the end of it, I win.
Yeah.
And I think there's been talk, and especially around our shop, there's been talk about unrestrictions and semi-limits and EX5, what's going to happen and stuff like that. And Shine Greymon, what are we going to do? And I think I'd be interested to be in on the meetings at Bandai when they're talking about restriction cards.
Because when they all get together and watch our episodes.
Yeah, when they're probably watching this.
They're probably watching this right now. So if you are watching this, just make a Jet Sylphie that's tribal. That was Basil's idea. So give him credit too.
But more to the point, it's interesting what the ban philosophy is going to be moving forward.
I don't think they're going to restrict anything. Why would they?
I don't know if they are or not, but I would like to know, like Nationals format, we already know is going to be EX5.
Yep.
And if Anubismon and Melga are 70% of every tournament in the top 16 before Nationals, are you going to have an emergency ban list? Are you going to, basically my question is, what is going to happen with these decks?
Yeah.
And I think that there are some cards that just lend themselves to kind of turning Digimon from this interaction on the memory system to my solitaire turn.
Yep.
And is that something that Bandai is aware of? Is that something that they care of? Hard to say.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you. And I think Bandai's approach, and I don't necessarily know if I disagree with this, so I definitely don't want to sound negative, but to me, it seems like they're always kind of looking ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So why would they look back to unrestrict things, right? If they have these cards, yes, I know that there are strong fans that want certain cards. There are cards that are restricted that I miss. Like I loved Crossheart with the Cross 4.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of my favorite decks. I'm a very aggressive player. I did insanely well BT10 with that deck.
Yeah.
And I obviously that's not one that I would unrestrict for sure. Definitely not. But there are other cards like Hidden Potential Discovered. Sure. Mega Digimon Fusion. Can it be a one of, right? There are so many cards. I just don't think Bandai is ever going to go back and unrestrict because they're looking forward.
Yeah.
Right? They're thinking, all right, let's make a new card that does something different, or let's reprint this idea with a little bit more control that makes it, a little bit more playable. And it'd be very interesting to see because I don't know a lot of card games until they are years down the line where they start to unrestrict things and unlimit things, right? And I don't think we're close enough to that. So I definitely am curious, like you said, sitting in on the Bandai meetings. If you want to fly us out to Japan, Basil, myself, Jesse, Jacob,
we'll talk to him.
We'll come sit with you. We'll come let you know why we need more Raidenmon support, and we'll come let you know what our thought process is in the game in general.
Yeah, but Ice Wall had me contemplative this week.
I love it. And the specific reason why you did Ice Wall is because I'm not playing it in my Blue Flare list.
Play it in Blue Flare,
and I think I'm still not going to play it in Blue Flare. There's just been so many times where I cannot wait. I hope this sparks a huge heated argument in the comments below. While you're getting us those 65 subscribers, let us know why I should or should not play Ice Wall.
If your blue deck doesn't have Ice Wall, it would be better with Ice Wall. That's my opinion.
I mean, it's obviously a good card, right? But there's so many times where it's like, to me, I would rather have the answer of how do I win this turn compared to how do I stall this turn. And sometimes, like with the way memory tamers are, if you have 2 attackers on board and I have 1 security left, which seems to be very common, especially the Wargrave video we just shot, right? You had the level 3 coming out of Raising. You had the Wargrave already on board, right? And Ice Wall to put you at 1, you would have the memory setter to go to 3, and then you can still do 2 attacks and win. You know what I'm saying?
You'll never convince me Ice Wall doesn't belong in your deck. Sorry.
And I'm not saying I'm a better deck builder at all than you, but I've been looking at some regionals lists. I even looked at a podcast episode you and I did a couple weeks ago where the first place did not have Ice Wall in their Blue Flare list. So I'm going to try it without it for now. I'm not saying that's my final list. I want to fit this Shoutmon Superior mode, man. Yeah. He's got 17K. He's clearly the best card in the game. Highest DP. What can I say, dude? That's it for kind of our like regionals mashup, but we have other things to look forward to. It's Friday. What happens on Friday?
For those of you watching, RB1 is live, and so are the new boost gift or adventure boxes.
Yeah. So I'm really glad that we had the opportunity to talk about this, because the RB1 stuff I'm excited for, but like I'm excited for in the way where I don't need to buy a case of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, obviously there's a lot of good stuff.
You've already got
It's
your
a single set, it
ties.
feels like. It feels like it's a set where I could just order some singles online for the individual decks that I want the shiny cards for.
Yeah.
Especially because, like, for example, the Blossomon. We're finally getting a foil Blossomon.
Yep.
I like them way more than the other one,
Yeah, the
personally,
Tamer
because it's
Party.
foil, right?
True.
And I don't care about max rarity. Is the card shiny? Is the artwork I like? Is it done by Koki? That's what I care about. Just bad joke, guys. Sorry, guys. So I'm excited. Obviously, the Gaomon stuff. I'm a huge Gaomon fan. Very excited to that. I love the artwork of the Dyed Rabbitmon, whatever the green level 6
DR
is.
Bitmon, I
DR
think.
Bitmon. Yeah, I love the artwork on it, but we were talking about this. The promo one is what makes the deck, not that one.
Hard to say.
Yeah, so
we'll have decks coming for it.
Yeah,
eventually.
so it's Wednesday. We're recording. Stuff should be coming out today when you're watching on Friday. Whether or not we were able to get our hands on some boxes and get some boxes open for you, we don't know. So maybe
We'll
it
figure it
did,
out.
maybe it didn't. If we have that video live, wow, look at our polls. If not, what do you think our poll is going to be? So, but you brought up a good point about the slots in RB1.
Yeah, you'll probably know by the time you're watching this, but we don't know. Like, there's a bunch of secret rares in the set, but I can't imagine that they're gonna take up the secret rare slot.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I don't know. It'd be hard to say whether where does the Lucemon go? Where does the Metal Greymon go?
Yeah.
Where do the Zwart Defeats go? Who knows?
Yeah, I wonder
Only
if
time will
RB1
tell.
would be a really fun draft night, because it's got stuff from some old sets.
That's a good idea.
Right? Because it's not.
Are there any level 4s in the whole set?
Ooh.
Besides the new stuff?
Ooh, I don't know. I think there's got to be.
Yeah,
there's Security Attack Greymon, which could be really fun. Like if you're at locals with the draft night and you get that.
Hover Espimon.
Hover Espimon. Yeah, so there's some 4s. So imagine having a draft night where everybody gets RB1, a box of that, and just goes ham, or 6 packs, or do this Magic where they pack it around.
You'd have a lot of good cards.
I think so. So maybe that's the way
a good idea.
RB1 should be done, because
a little RB draft.
Yeah, because I mean, does anyone really want to buy a bunch of boxes of this? I mean,
well, a lot of the newer players will. I know a lot of newer players are really looking forward to this, but people who already have these cards, it's kind of like, eh.
As someone who does have the cards, I'm excited for the shinier versions, and I'm excited for this. I do think RB1's a great idea. I have no knocks against Bandai for doing it.
Had to come.
And I think the gift boxes are an awesome idea for this time, assuming we can get our hands on them, right?
We'll see if our Walmarts have them.
Yeah, because I know the Walmart I live close to has no cards whatsoever, and it's just like, not that I need to be going to Walmart buying cards every day, but it'd be nice to go get some of these Tamer gift boxes. And what is
I need those black boosts.
We need the memory boost, and what's nice is the memory boost is on the front of the box.
You can tell which
one you're gonna get. So be very curious what memory boosts are gonna be left on the shelves, and just nobody gets.
Green, black, and yellow.
Green, black. That's the thing is I want 5 of each only because of those memory boosts, but I don't actually want to buy 5 of each gift box. You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna be getting our RB1 that way.
It does feel like it's gonna be a single set, but I'm very excited. Again, I think it's a positive thing Bandai's doing. I love the state of Digimon right now. It's in such a good spot. It may feel like we've been in BT13 for a long time, but it's for good reason. We got RB to help us out. There's a lot of decks to get through. This is a very, very competitive meta, and
Starter decks coming soon.
Starter decks next week. I can't believe it. Stay tuned. Ace Mega Zoo update coming very soon, right? No, I'm just kidding. So I'm very excited to see when that happens with the starter decks, and how much crazier Wargrave is going to get, how much crazier Melga is going to get.
Yeah.
It's just it's a good time to be a Digimon fan right now. That is very sure. So we're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
We're going to go play in locals. If you want to know how we did, feel free to hit us up on Discord. I don't know if these two knuckleheads here will talk about it next week, but maybe I'll win the whole event and then be gone and disappear, and you won't be able to hear it from me, right?
True. It'll be like the wandering swordsman.
Just kidding. So thank you guys so much again for staying tuned and hanging out with us. Cannot wait to see you when I get back. And as always, the next episode will be great. It's going to be in good hands. Again, thanks. Bye.